This is going to be a static type of stretching routine. So this is something that you would want to do if you're trying to stretch the muscle, relax it, lengthen it to recover basically. Or if there's an area that's tight on your body and you want it stretched out, this is the type of stretching I would recommend. So I set my timer for 30 seconds. That is how long you should roughly hold a stretch. 20 to 45 is what I typically do with clients after a routine. So the first stretch we're gonna do is gonna stretch between the shoulder blades. I'm gonna hit the timer, 30 seconds. So you're gonna interlock your hands, reach out. This is the only time I let clients round their shoulders typically. And I'm gonna hit that timer. So 30 seconds, make sure you're breathing. Or what I do is have them do 20 seconds like this, 20 seconds off to the side to get more of a pull in that right shoulder blade. Or if I go to the right, then they get more of a pull in that left shoulder blade. The other one that we can do to stretch between those shoulder blades is called an eagle's pose. So what you do with that one is bring, say, your left elbow on top of your right one, and I'm gonna bring my right hand, the bottom elbow, arm, okay, to that wrist. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out. This, you really get a pull in between those shoulder blades. To stretch out the shoulders, I'm gonna relax my arms down. I'm gonna bring one arm out. I'm gonna grab the elbow and I'm gonna pull across my body. I'm not gonna start the timer, but roughly 20 seconds I'll say for holding these ones. Just make sure that shoulder's relaxed down. If you have it hiked, it's not gonna stretch. To stretch out the tricep here, hand, same side shoulder, you're gonna push, depends on your flexibility. You're gonna push or you can pull that elbow back. So it depends on how much flexibility you have and how deep of a stretch you wanna feel. Again, it's gonna be that 20 to 45 seconds per each side. Bring that down, switch sides, same thing. If I want to stretch out the trap and scalene muscles, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a double chin. I'm going to bring my left hand on the lower part of my back. I don't want it here because that shoulder hikes. I want it down and I want that shoulder depressed. And what I'm going to do is make that double chin, and then with my other hand, I'm going to gently pull my head, the same side shoulder of the arm that is pulling that head down. And instantly I feel a stretch right here. That trap is always really tight because I'm missing two of my scalene muscles. Another stretch that feels amazing, you can use your grab handle even, and then use your mirror for balance if you need to. That has a door frame. I'm gonna bring that elbow up, so shoulder height, a little bit higher. And what I'm gonna do is this hand is not gonna be here. It is gonna be more towards my head. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rotate away. So opposite foot is forward, I'm leaning forward and then out away from it. So I get a good pull through that whole pec area, right through here. Same thing, 20 to 40 seconds. And then I'm gonna switch sides, same thing on that other side. Elbow, there's shoulder height. I'm gonna go a little bit higher. The hand is not here. I'm gonna bring it towards my forehead. Opposite foot is forward of the arm that is up. I'm gonna lean forward a little bit and then away from it so I get a good pull right through that pec, through that whole chest. This is like everyone's favorite stretch. Or at least for the upper body it is. From there, if you wanna stretch out the quads, hold on to your grab handle or something that's stable, heel towards your butt. If you cannot get this stretch, I will show you a couple different variations, but I always think of knee underneath your hip, and you wanna rotate that pelvic bone or tuck the tailbone, and then you should feel a stretch instantly if you didn't feel one here. But you don't have to be way back here trying to balance and look all cool. You want to be nice and tall, upright. Instantly, I feel a stretch right here. So I don't want my knee forward, I don't want it way back here. I want it directly under my hip. Tailbone's tucked under. Immediately, I feel a good pull down that leg. 20 to 45 seconds, and then you switch sides. Same thing. So here, my back is arching a little bit. Tuck that tailbone, instantly feel that stretch. Say you have a bungee or a strap. What you're gonna do is wrap it around your foot, And you are going to keep that knee in alignment with your hip. And then think of pulling that band or your heel towards your butt. Some of you may only get right here, but as long as you feel that stretch in that front part of your leg, you are doing this correctly. If that doesn't feel good, I mean, that is probably the easiest way to stretch out the quads. Otherwise, you can do this one. If you can grab your ankle, bottom leg is straight, and then I always elevate the head because it helps a little bit with balance, and then heel towards your butt. For some, just make sure you don't roll back. For some reason, this stretch is a lot easier for people than if they're standing trying to grab their ankle. The next stretch we would want to go into is a kneeling hip flexor. So knee underneath the hip, ankle underneath the knee with that front leg, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. This with my foot down and directly behind that knee is the easiest way to stretch that hip flexor and quad right here. Just sitting right here, okay? If you don't feel a good stretch, try to tuck that tailbone under. You should feel a stretch. If you do not, flex that back foot. Immediately, you should get a stretch. The next one I'll go into is a seated hamstring. Multiple different ways you can do this as well. So if you're one of them that has no flexibility, and this is how you hold yourself up because your hamstrings are too darn tight to be able to sit up like this, I'm gonna show you ways that you can slowly progress that. So if you're here and it's hard to sit up and you need to use your hands to sit up, I want you to just slowly work your way with your feet kind of spread out. Make sure your toes aren't turned in. Make sure they're not way out. Try to keep them in a nice straight line with your hips. And what you're gonna do is gradually inch your way forward to where you're sitting up tall. If you can sit easily like this, what you can do is you can bring both hands, walk them over to that one leg, and you're gonna inch towards your feet, towards your toes. Pull your toes towards you, so you stretch out that calf muscle as well, and you're reaching towards your toes. Don't let your shoulders round, don't round through the back. Try to sit tall as you reach. Make sure you're breathing, that 20 to 45 seconds. From there, you can inch your way towards the center. Again, reset if you need to, sit back, then sit back forward. Go as far as you can, breathing, hold that stretch. Come back, toes are pulled towards you, they're not rotated out, they're not rotated in, because that does make a difference on that hip and where you're getting that stretch in that hamstring. So toes pulled towards you, one hand over the other, and reach down towards those toes. The other stretch I like to do is called a frog, where you put the base of your feet together and you pull your heels in as far as you can and you sit nice and tall. So you get a stretch on the inner thigh. Sitting nice and tall, you can try to gently push down. If you want more of a stretch, you could even lean forward a little bit. The stretch I like to do, and I have clients do, is called a tactical frog. So that is where you're in a 4-point position and you bring your knees out as far as you can. And this one you can let your feet down normal. And then you can sit your butt back into your hips so you get a good pull on that inner thigh. If you don't feel a stretch here, you want to work one side and then the other, or stretch one side and then the other. Come out of that. Bring one leg straight. And then keep the one knee down and get that good pull on that inner thigh. That you'll feel more than the other way. This is the hardest variation of that inner thigh stretch. You can do what's called a figure 4 as long as you have the flexibility for it. Lie all the way on your back. Ankle over the knee, other ankle underneath the knee. If this feels like a good stretch, stay there. If you can, I want you to grab that knee and pull it towards your chest. Think of this as a 4 position. Like if this leg was straight, you'd make a 4. Okay? It's called a figure 4. Then you bring both legs down on the floor. Press that back in. This is everyone's favorite stretch for the lower body. You're going to swing one leg over and across. Keep your shoulders down. Oh yeah, you should get a stretch from here all the way down the glute, all the way down that leg. The other amazing stretch that I like to do is, so that ankle over the knee, you can bring this foot out just slightly, and then with this ankle, I'm gonna pull that knee down towards the floor, and I get a good stretch right through the glute, through that hip flexor, basically everything. So my knee is basically in line with this hip. Okay. One more stretch. If your glutes are tight and you want to stretch out your butt, you're going to go seated on the chair, bench, whatever you're using, ankle over your knee. You're going to hug your knee sitting nice and tall. If you don't feel a stretch here, try to bring that knee over and across towards that opposite shoulder, instantly right through that glute. You're going to feel that stretch 100%.